Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
All right, boys, a little Saturday check down here and some spillover feedback Friday, because Judd's Camp Notes, the MVP of really the week, quite frankly, but the Feedback Friday show, the back and forth exchange with JJ McCarthy, just two pros talking ball at the podium after minicamp.
Figuring it out.
Couple of ball guys.
Setting it straight.
Securing themselves.
Take that, haters.
That's right. So let's start with this one from Mike Ives, who hold on a second. Okay. No, I said his name, but it's not like an anonymous he's emailing about the anonymous tip line. I was wondering, did he not want me to say his name? But I think we're good here. So Mike Ives emails in about the Purple Daily anonymous tip line. I think you guys are selling yourselves short. The NFL anonymous tip line sounds better, and you could have your YouTube wizards attach these videos to anything NFL related, and you could solicit anyone's tips for all NFL teams. In addition, real insiders could use a place to send things. Player agents, players, teams that want things out could contact you guys, the NFL anonymous tip line. It could basically be a competitor to the NFL Network's Insiders program. You could literally turn the anonymous tip line into a total industry. Eventually, I see Adam Schefter on ESPN saying, according to the NFL anonymous tip line, such and such happened. I think it is absolutely the most entertaining part of Purple Daily. Love the show. Just one before I die. Are we missing an opportunity to expand the franchise of the anonymous tip line?
Sounds like it should be a channel then. I mean, we've got a flagrant channel. We've got a PD, O-line committee channel, anonymous tip line channel.
I mean, it would crush. It would crush. It would be highly, highly recklessly speculative.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
Speculation.
And we would definitely get tips that we could not use because the lawyers would be upset. But yes, it would crush.
But then, like, on one hand, because the three of us all completed at least like 5 minutes of a journalism school in college or high school. Like, we went to enough journalism classes and then have backgrounds like Judd more than us in actual journalism to be like, would it be ethical to launch a full channel devoted to like just random anonymous tips? And then you go on Twitter and like NBA Central is a fake NBA news account that probably makes tens of thousands of dollars a month off of the engagement that they get. So I feel there's like no rules in media anymore, for God's sakes.
I mean, anything goes. It's not, you know what? If you like, it would take work. It's not a bad idea.
You'd have to get the flow of information coming in. We have it from like Vikings anonymous.
I was gonna
tipsters.
say, would Chargers people in the know send us stuff? Like, that's my question.
If we got the word out, yeah. And then we'd have to kind of vet. All right, is this worthy of bringing to the show? And then we could put different levels of disclaimers. But from a clickbait perspective, it would be absolutely glorious.
It's not a bad idea.
Let's think about that. Actually,
Okay. I like it.
NBA then launch one of those channels.
Oh man.
MLB, NHL, WNBA. It's a whole franchise.
Oh man, you got my wheels turning now here. So I guess in honor of this, we might as well keep going through the anonymous tip line accountability session here. So we did some of this last week where we went through some of the Purple Daily anonymous tip emails from the last 12 months, and we put them in three categories. A win, like, yes, this was credibly correct. A loss, meaning, it turns out that might have been bad information. And a TBD, which is either we don't know yet or, it was information that, like, there's no way to prove it. Like that Tampa Bay running back, Rachaad White, wanted to play for the Vikings while he's under contract. So it's like, okay, we're not really sure. And the Vikings went a different direction.
Right.
So I'm just going to fly through a few of these, and you tell me, is it, yep, that was correct? Nope, that's an L for the tip line. Or we need more information, okay? Mm-hmm. So Anonymous sent one in here a few months ago and said, I have a Viking source with knowledge of the Vikings draft war room, and he tells me there was definitely some tension between the offense and defensive sides of the evaluators. There was a ton of secondary help in the first round available. The defensive staff wanted defense, and O'Connell came in and overruled to bolster the offensive line with the guard from Donovan Jackson, the guard from Ohio State.
Sure.
Do with that info what you please, and please keep me anonymous. I think it's a win.
I totally buy that. But I mean, it's not okay. If we're going to put these in categories, this also is not spicy because I think this happens every year in draft rooms. So
no, it's not spicy, but it's
right. But I'm
is
saying
anonymous.
It's total. Yeah, it's just yes, it's a win, but it's like a relief pitcher who comes in and gets an out and gets the win.
Okay.
It's just an okay. Because this happens all the time. There is I would say I don't think it's a stretch to say that other than when the Vikings took Adrian Peterson, that there's always probably some push and pull between the offensive and defensive staffs.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, that's not, and that's how it should be, right? Of course,
Yeah,
if your floor is, you're like, whatever, just do it.
And it's
do whatever you want.
football. It's football too. These are football men with egos.
Football men. That's right.
Men.
Okay, this next one, I think it's a W. I don't know why it wouldn't be a W. It's someone who has a comment about Gray Zabel, who the Vikings wound up not drafting, and his character, that apparently he used NDSU NIL money to invest in land around his hometown of Pierre, South Dakota. Or Pierre, how do you pronounce it?
Pierre. Well, the capital of South Dakota is Pierre. I don't know if that's where he is from.
Yeah, it's I thought there was maybe
like
a
Pierre?
different. Yeah.
Yeah,
I have
that's
no
Pierre,
clue.
South Dakota.
I have no clue.
But anyways, he was very generous with his NIL money, not just being selfish and buying cars and whatever.
Cool.
So and also saying no to some certain blank check NIL deals. So just salt of the earth, hardworking guy from the Midwest who will give you his best. Just a comment on his character, and it's a W. I don't know why you'd lie about this. Okay, this next one, this was a good one. My wife is a house cleaner in the metro area.
Oh, yeah.
And she cleans for a lady in a high-end Minneapolis house fairly close to US Bank Stadium.
Yep.
And my wife said the owner told her the guy renting the Airbnb was working out with the Vikings. His name is Dionate. And so he sent photos of Dionate Johnson, the wide receiver, and she said, "Yeah, I think that's the guy." Mm-hmm. Made some sense because maybe the Vikings were looking for a number 3 receiver. They wound up actually bringing in what's his name from the Arizona Cardinals, and then drafting Ty Felton,
Rondale Moore. Yep.
Rondale Moore. Yeah. Turns out that Dionate Johnson wound up signing with the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
So what do we do with the Dionate Johnson?
It's an L. It's an L.
You think so, or do you think he
think
was
so.
there
It's
and
an
just?
L, but I think he was there.
Yeah, it's less about did he sign with the Vikings and more about the validity of the tip. Do you think that was Dionate Johnson in that house?
No, I don't. He's not. I mean, this dude's had problems. He was getting cut by teams last year. I don't know. No, I don't think it was him.
It's hard to fight back and be like, no, it was him because
Right.
we weren't
Right.
in the house. Okay, we'll chalk it up as a loss.
Okay.
To me, that one, because that's such a particular name of a guy that wouldn't fit with this team as well. He's bounced around. He's had issues. No.
There's one more here in the Herbert bin that we should at least deal with. We've put most of the Herbert stuff in the win because it's been confirmed that they did have conversations. But this was a tipster who sent in a second tip. They were right on the first one with some juicy intel that was referenced in a conversation over the weekend with my source. As a reminder, this source has ties to numerous people inside NFL circles.
Okay.
I'll just say. 2 things. First, you previously discussed the possibility of a Herbert for McCarthy trade. I believe this was sent in by another listener, but I want to double down and say this was 100% accurate intel. I heard these conversations did to some extent take place inside the building. Mm-hmm. There's another name that came up inside the building, inside the Vikings facility, Trevor Lawrence, that they at least had discussions about what would it take to get a Trevor Lawrence or a Justin Herbert at some point in the last 12 months. Is it a win or a loss for the Purple Daily Anonymous tip line?
I buy it. I'll say win.
There's too much Herbert steam.
I mean, the Herbert thing is totally true. So, like, that's 100%.
It's over now. It's over
yes,
now.
This is all. But it happened. Yeah. It happened. The Lawrence one's interesting, but I could see O'Connell saying, you know what? He's with at least at the time, dysfunctional franchise. He's not being cultivated correctly. Give him to me. I'm buying this one.
Yeah, I am too. And I got one more, and then we'll get to a couple other leftover feedback things. This one's from Anonymous. Again, we're just going back and grading these. Per my source, who may or may not have received this information directly from an individual, very well placed, let's just say.
Okay.
Let's couch this. Aaron Rodgers desperately wanted to join the Vikings and was even willing to take as low as $5 million to do so.
Yep.
I mean, the fact that he signed, was it like $13 million or something? 15 million?
Like
13?
Yeah. No, I think it was, well, it can go up by quite a bit, but I think it was 13 base or something like that. Yes.
Yeah. So
I'm buying. I'm totally buying right now.
Or if he would have signed for like 30 with the Steelers, I would have said, I don't know about the 5 here, but it's in the ballpark.
It was clear he was dying to play here.
Love this. Somebody else emailed wondering, like, what do you think about his kind of random shotgun wedding that he's being vague about? There's no information at all about.
Who did he get married to?
No one knows.
Okay. I didn't even pay it. I saw he said that he was married now, but I didn't know if there was like a person that we've seen him with or.
So to this point in our Purple Daily Anonymous tip line review, it's 8 wins, 4 losses, and 4 to be determined. So that's like a 67% completion percentage for the Purple Daily Anonymous tip line right there.
Absolutely.
It's pretty good. Let's see here. Clara Walsh says, hey guys, thank you for introducing me to the fun and rampant rumor mill that is the off season in the National Football League. I've been listening for years and was even a guest listener predictor last season on Write That Down, but only during the regular season was I listening before this year. I had no idea that I needed football content 365 days a year. So thank you so much for that. There's another part to this too, but it is fun. I think one of the most fun things of this show and doing this for 365 days is introducing people to life after the Super Bowl. Because sometimes it's the most fun period. The roster construction, the draft lead up, Judd's camp notes during OTAs and mini camps.
Yep.
I would say the most common question I get when people ask about like what I do, and I tell them mostly specifically about Purple Daily, they're like, so what do you guys like talk about in like May and June after the draft? And it's like, oh, buddy, let me tell you. It's I shared a golf cart on Saturday with someone that obviously I'd never met before, and I was telling him about it, and he was like, well, I guess, wow, you know, you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. And I was like, see? And I will say for just speaking from us three, like at first it wasn't daunting, but I was like, okay, how do we make this work? And now, I mean, we got this baby down to a science. These are scripted plays. We got this down to a pretty good thing.
The league doesn't take a break. Like until now, like there will be a break now until training camp starts, but it is perfectly positioned for year-round coverage. Perfectly.
Yeah, there's like obviously the shows are never scripted, to piggyback off Declan's point, but the NFL calendar is.
Yeah, I got my script right here.
Well, Judd's camp notes are very heavily scripted.
Yep.
But you know that there's going to be like the NFL season ends on like Valentine's Day or whatever around then. And then you've got less than a month from that point, crazy free agency and trades and player movement and all that stuff into draft season. And for us, the draft party is always our big annual celebration with you guys, the audience. And yeah, I mean, the season is obviously like where the games are played and everything, and it's fun. But I think we've just taken a pride in making sure that this community is 12 months instead of maybe 5 months. So welcome aboard, Clara, to the excitement of the off season. Judd's camp notes. So she says, my real reason for writing into the show is because I love how much you guys talk about how far reaching this fan base is. I live in Vermont and I've been a diehard fan since about 2015. Yes, I'm the caller who was converted to the team because of Blair Walsh back in 2015. But obviously, the Vikings fan base is smaller in New England. However, I found a child-sized Kirk Cousins jersey at a small thrift shop in very rural New Hampshire, not too far from my house. I had to laugh because the tags were still on the jersey. It's nice to know that there's still fans around. And yes, I absolutely bought that jersey. Anyways, thanks for acknowledging how vast and amazing this fan base is. I can't wait until we are losing our minds when they lift the Lombardi someday. Skol for life, Clara.
Very cool. That's very, very cool.
Kirk Cousins thrift store jersey for the win. And then John Newman has a take on Jair Alexander. He says, do not sign Jair Alexander. He is a cancer. He can't stay healthy. He plays when he feels like it. He'd be a complete waste of money. I'd rather die on a hill with the guys we have than try to accommodate a prima donna like Jair Alexander. Same goes for Jalen Ramsey, by the way.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Jalen, I mean, I guess I would consider him more. Jair does seem weird. Like he is a, when I've seen Jalen Ramsey, and this of course is in group situations with the media, Jalen Ramsey doesn't seem as odd to me. Jair is definitely an odd duck.
Yeah.
Like you see him talk and it's like, okay. That's
but I feel like, but there's,
Jalen, I think I would take.
There's enough proof in the NFL. If you build a great culture and you've been winning and you've got something solid and stable, you're not the Jets, you're not Cleveland or someone. You can bring in a couple maybe odd duck personalities or guys who might previously have been considered cancers, and they tend to fit in.
But the Packers got a good culture. Like, that's my thing. Like, the Packers, if Jair was coming from Cleveland, I'd be like, oh, yeah, hell yeah. Bring him in. I feel like the Packers got a pretty good culture. And it is weird that Jair misses so much time. Like, that's
I'm more
thing.
worried about that than I am like him assimilating into the Vikings culture and locker room. The fact that he's literally played, I think, 14 games over the past 2 years.
Here's my question to him. How much pain can't you play through? Like, this is football.
Wow.
Like, we've seen guys. I'm just saying, we've seen guys
challenging his manhood.
We've seen guys definitely play. Like, my question is, how much? Like, are you really injured, or are you hurting and you just don't play because you're hurting? I would like to know that.
I didn't see Judd attacking.
When you miss that much
character and the
when you miss that
toughness.
time, and like they're not doing surgeries to like reconstruct your knees or something, I start to question it. And look, if you don't have the pain tolerance, that's cool. I just don't want you. I don't want you, Jair.
Jair Alexander, no pain tolerance.
And I did say the Packers. I think the Packers have a good culture.
But Vikings, but there's been a lot of other good cultures where guys will they have a falling out contractually or whatever with that team, and they're deemed to be kind of a cancer, and then you plop them in. Well, look at, for instance, until like 3 years in, Stephon Diggs was considered kind of a malcontent, and by the end of his Vikings tenure, it's like, okay, he's skipping practice, he's getting fined by the team, he's putting out cryptic tweets and stuff and whatever. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a weird personality. Mm-hmm. Then he goes to Buffalo, assimilates excellently for like 2.5 years, and then now it's Randy Moss. Patriots had something built. He kind of runs out of steam in Minnesota. Weird little tenure in Oakland. Fits right into, but it was like year 3 in New England. Okay, that was enough, Randy Moss. Now it's time for him to go somewhere else. So I'm just saying, if there's like a year or two of Jair Alexander, I'd be more concerned about durability than personality.
And Duke's told us that right now, his sources said the Vikings are a no on Jair, right?
Yep, as of right now.
Who has not signed yet.
No, he has not signed yet.
Which is also interesting.
So, all right, there's your little Saturday check down here. Some bonus feedback Friday, Purple Daily. Declan has Vent Line tomorrow, and then latest Vikings news in a couple of days for the Sports Dad. For Judd's Camp Notes, probably booking a tropical vacation for the next month here.
Need some time on the beach.
We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. See ya.